You remember that they're changing my voice. So, as I was having a discussion with the servants of the oppressors who often admit that I'm right about my stance on rape, okay? And almost everything, right? Quite often, they provoke me and they cause me pain, Then there's times where they kind of talk to me more normally, okay? Almost in a reconciliatory manner, to kind of cause some kind of psychological effect or whatever their motives is. Maybe whatever their motives are, maybe they feel bad. Let's look at this thing here. So I'm going to give you an example of 3 things, and I'm going to put them in order for you. 1 is shunning Jesus, right? Me. The real idea that Jesus in the Bible is superimposed on it. So even if you don't believe in the Bible, whatever, the most righteous person that ever lived. 2, dating a wicked person and having his child. And 3, killing somebody. So now I'm going to order it in terms of, what is the worst to the least worst. Well, that is the order. The worst thing you could do of those 3 things is shun the most righteous guy that ever lived if you're an attractive female, if you're married, as long as the marriage is invalid, right? 2, the next worst thing you can do is bring in an evil child. And 3, the worst thing you can do is, the least of the 3 is to kill somebody, depending on who that person is. So let me give an example here. One thing that brought up this topic, right, was I was finishing off another topic when I came across the idea that if a female every day shot someone right between the eyes, a different person every day, is it wrong to wish that that person was dead? Is it wrong to say to yourself that you should X, Y, and Z that person, kill him? No, because that person kills somebody every day. And for the sake of argument, no one holds them accountable. They're just going to keep operating with impunity. It is worse to say to yourself that nothing should happen to that person, they should be allowed to keep killing, than to say to yourself that you should kill them. Pretty straightforward. How many people did the kings of Israel in the Old Testament, when they were doing the right thing, put to death? Quite a few. You'll see, read 1 and 2 Samuel. You see King David kills the people who killed Saul. Okay, this one guy who struck down Saul, even though Saul told him to do so, King David still killed him. Even though King Saul had told that person to kill him so the enemies won't kill him. King David said, "Why weren't you afraid to kill the anointed?" and killed him. And it was right to do so. That's a story for another day. So when you think about what would Jesus do, okay, what would Jesus do? Well, what does he do in the story in Revelation 19? What does it say in Matthew? It's like Matthew 25. It says, when everyone sees the Son of Man, everyone will mourn. So is it wrong to cause people to mourn? Not necessarily, depending on why you caused them to mourn, right? And is it wrong to do what he does in Revelation 19, to wage war with righteousness and justice, right? And to condemn people to the lake of fire with the sharp, double-edged sword of Scripture? No. I'm sure we can all agree that you're better off having your flesh killed, like a lot of the Christians did, than having your soul killed. What does it profit someone to save their flesh and lose their soul? Nothing. You gain the world at the same time, you still profit nothing. So when someone's soul is sent to eternal punishment, that is much worse than some dumb airhead, Jesus-rejecting slut being killed. Think about it. So when I tell you, 2 million people die every 11 days or so on this planet, 2 million people die, and say they have, 4 people on average in their immediate family. That's 8 million 8 million members of a family affected by it, whether they lost a family member or died themselves, what have you. Then they have cousins and friends and right? Millions and millions of people are affected by those 2 million people who die every 11 days. That's part of why I have no intention to kill the flesh of anybody. Because they're already dying. And I'm going to send their souls to hell. You see what I'm saying? I mean, who could triumph over someone who has the power to send your soul to hell? And then when he's at God's right hand, he has the power to either make the inhabitants of the world have worse lives or better or stay the same. I have the power. I'm in charge. Hello. The soul means more. There's a reason why we're here. The first thing that ever was had to be God. And that's the message from the spiritual realm. How can you reconcile what came first if not being God? The idea of God who's too powerful to need to have been created. He defies time. He made time. It can't be reconciled by humanity, not 300,000 years ago when they say the first humans emerged, okay, first Homo sapiens, 300,000 years give or take, or right now. To this day, there is no viable counter-argument for that. That is the message of nature, of God, of the spiritual realm, what have you. And what you have is the logical assumption, the sound conclusion, right? If you're sitting in your car and you want to be, somewhere that's 100 miles away, you can't just sit in your car. You have to drive it. You have to get on the bus. You have to have someone take you. You have to have a logical way to get there. And so it is with why we're here. What is the logical assumption, sound conclusion to people, whether they're 300,000 years ago or right now? It's that God came first. An idea that if you think about it thoroughly, you'll see it can never be proven false, ever. No matter what people do, because they can't even answer the nature of reality. So the logical assumption in the reality, to the best of anyone's knowledge of what a reality is that God came first and there's nothing anyone can ever do to change that. So if mankind is still around here 300,000 years from now, that's still the answer. So you have to understand these things to truly grasp why I'm right about these things. Now, on the issue of fantasizing, oh man, I'll tell you, the vast majority of people fantasize, matter of fact, everyone fantasizing about sex these days is a sick fuck, whether you want to admit it or not. Just because you hate serial killers or something, and you think that they're worse than you, doesn't mean they are. It doesn't mean that you're not sick too. You are sick. You're outside the divine order, fantasizing about something that has to do with God. God is love, the creator, procreation, okay? And something that God at least somewhat made, right, before they became an abomination, following the crowd like a fucking idiot. Well, they're sick. Doesn't matter if it's the most consensual fantasy on the planet. It's a sick fucking dog's fantasy of getting over while they're in rebellion against God, pleasing their sickly flesh. Like Slimer. Like Freddy Krueger. Just some kind of sick warthog piece of shit, whether they're a little worm or a big fat idiot or whatever. They're super skinny or average size or some privileged motherfucker at a gym or something. Look at my body, guys. They're a sick fuck. Now, if you were a righteous person, I wouldn't give a shit if you fantasize about raping a bitch with a gun to her chicken fucking head. As long as you are planning to do what's right and that you're righteous. Because they're just a rebellious bitch. If a bitch is a bitch, even if she's rich, how much more a rebellious bitch? If the fucking prostitute in the Bible is described as a prostitute in Revelation, how much more a dumb bitch who reads that book and is still a prostitute in every way, shape, and form? Fuck that bitch. That punk-ass fucking slut. And the word slut is the word lust scrambled. So if you're a righteous person, you are, again, fantasizing. Keyword, fantasizing. About that. I don't fucking care. But when you're a wicked person, I don't give a fuck if it's the most consensual fantasy possible. You sick fuck. Stop it immediately. So now let's talk about the parable of the tenants in Isaiah 5 and the Song of Solomon, where it compares a woman's body parts to fruits, what have you. The parable of the tenants said, last of all, he sent his son to get his share. A share of what? Well, Isaiah 5 tells us that the vineyard of the Lord is the nations of Israel. The nation of Israel. And the vines God delighted in were the people of Judah. And that includes women, right? So, God says, last of all, he sent his son. God sent his son. He said that they'll respect my son. So God said to Jesus to tell them that way. And he said that last of all, he sent his son in the story, right? That's the heir. The heir is the son of God. He said they'll respect him. That includes women. Because if you don't respect God enough to not shun his son, what kind of a whore are you? If you deserve to be burned in hell, you deserve to burn in hell. Is Isaiah 13 not fair? Your children dashed to pieces, raped literally and otherwise, is that not fair? Well, it doesn't necessarily happen literally. I mean, to a large degree it doesn't, because not everybody, is getting their kids dashed to pieces, right? But spiritually speaking, all sex has become rape, and their children's souls are dashed to pieces, so to speak, and they're thrown in the fire to burn forever. Last of all, he sent his son. So we see in Deuteronomy, and it gives you various rules, and other parts of the New Testament talks about taking the plunder of women and so on and so forth. The rules to most people with their worldly scale are appalling. Again, I'm not a Christian, Muslim, or Jew. I believe in universal pinpoint and moral precision. If it can be interpreted in a way that's morally precise, then that's the truth, the way, the truth, and the life. Make righteousness and justice the measuring line and plume line, Isaiah 28:17. So it says in Deuteronomy 21 or so, it says, if you notice a beautiful woman among the captives, right, when you go to war with your enemies, spiritual war otherwise, if I notice a beautiful woman right now, I say, hey, if I have the power to take her, okay, and it makes sense, which in my situation doesn't make sense for many reasons. First of all, fuck a fucking bitch, first of all. I'll be damned if I even get scratched trying to get what's rightfully mine. Fuck a bitch, okay? Much less fucking, this society's too immature, okay? I'm even conditioned to some degree to think that it's a bad thing. There's a lot of reasons why it's not a good idea to just snatch up a fucking dumb bitch, in today's society, okay? It's not a good idea. She would cleanse herself of the filth that makes her a female fucking dog and become an actual woman, then she's no longer a bitch. But they never do they? Okay, and you can say he's misogynist. Look, you first remove the log from your own fucking eye and look in the fucking mirror and ask yourself, are you the type of bitch that's cheating me out of my right to lead? Before you then fucking get mad at me for condemning Sodom and Gomorrah and fucking Babylon and the rest of the world. Just in. It's called common sense. I gotta explain this. Anyway. So yeah. It says if you like her and she's beautiful and everything adds up, because they don't give you every information. What if you like her and someone else likes her, right? So you gotta have a logical and moral process. It's based on morality, right? Then you can marry her and make her your wife. Why? Because you bring her to God in that scenario. Again, the Bible is a story written by Baal. It's written by a bunch of organized rapists superimposing on themselves on the true children of God, the Royal African Falcon Martial Art Order. It's encoded in the book, right? Genesis 10, Amos 9:7, and on and on and on. Right? Babylon the Great, which was founded by Nimrod, who was the offspring of Cush, who was the offspring of Ham, and so on and so forth. And Ham also brought in Mizraim, which is Egypt. Cush went through Mizraim, aka Egypt, went into the Middle East, founded Babylon, what have you. So anyway, Galatians 3:28, there's no Jew or Gentile. What your Bible is saying, while there's a red wave in this country and every white supremacist is going to play dumber than a doorknob about this, or twist it, and they're probably twisting and running a train on a chick dressed like a Dixie clown, what it's saying is those who obey God through me, everything belongs to us. Women, money, you name it. Now, am I some kind of worldly, worm-ass, punk-ass bitch? No. Am I going to prioritize that over doing God's work? No. In fact, I don't give a fuck about it. I basically consider myself asexual now because women's betrayal of God is so fucking disgusting to me. Disgusting. Morally bankrupt. Morally, mentally, and spiritually bankrupt. But anyway, there's a reason why I'm raising my voice. Partly I start off this video very angry. And I think it's best said in a way that reflects moral outrage, righteous indignation, justified anger. We live on a planet where women, that really aren't, it's like my mom's like the only woman kind of thing. The rest are just females that never grew up. Where females are in rebellion against God with the males who failed to raise them. I blame males more for the state of females, especially whites and Jews and LGBT people, as they exert more power, more worldly power on earth than everyone else, like put together damn near, if not put together. Okay, I blame them for how females came out because they're groupies. They say things like, who does that? Just like a racist homosexual would, while they try to enforce social norms, the same social norms that cause me to be shunned. However, I don't consider any of them worthy. Okay? The reason why it says in Deuteronomy that they may take them captive is because they're in the divine order. Not because they're in a church that's allowed by a corrupt nation like every single church you can think of. And every church that there is right now. Literal church and denomination, what have you. That's not why it's saying that. That's why Caesar would say that, and Caesar worships Jupiter, whose Middle Eastern equivalent is Baal, the main enemy of God in the Bible. So you have the rape cult, white supremacist, Jewish supremacist, LGBT, token minority, thug with no higher cause, and whoever else might want to rape a chick and take her captive, saying, use their scale. We're fucking retarded. Immoral dogs. But when you look at this, as you see these females complicit with mass murder, mass rape, mass drugging, mass exploitation, mass deception, mass assault, drugging the food, the air, and on and on and on and on and on, right? As they're swimming in sin, as they're fully immersed in a sinful state in the spirit of their rape cult of pressure, can they then turn around and say to the most righteous guy that ever lived that it would be immoral if you snatched some fucking attractive female up, threw her in the fucking trunk and said, bitch, come with me, okay? Then when you open the trunk in some undisclosed location, slap the shit out of her for it coming to fucking that, and then forced her to come to God? No. That's called doing the right thing. And women are treated worse than that when they're taken to the average women's prison these days because they didn't follow the devil's fucking rules. Fuck the devil for that, by the way. And those same devils will come here. They probably try to argue with me about the thing. He's wrong about it. He sound like an incel. And sound like a bitch. Sound like a bitch's bitch. Yes, I'm right. And watch, they won't present any viable counter. They'll ignore this video. They'll oversimplify it. They won't address my key fucking points and my key supporting arguments. Because I'm the top martial artist ever, and there's some sniveling fucking pussy. Okay, with all that being said, I want to remind you that I do not condone rape. No one hates rape more than I do. I hate sin in general. Part of the reason why I decided to release this video is because it has a potent effect. The viewers, when they hear it, they know that I've trampled their argument. They know that females are so wrong that if the righteous one was to snatch them up and throw them in the trunk, right, even the word rapture is a play on words for rape root, then he'll be right. And everyone else does not have the moral authority to do so, and the moral logic and reason. That's how much they should submit. They should submit because I'm the Son of God, and that because they're so wrong and they're so cruel and evil that if I slapped them around and threw them in the fucking trunk, that I would be still right. I still would be right. Think about the implications of that. Are they in a position to make demands of me or negotiate? No. Should they be rebelling? No. They should be very much full of regret. They should scramble to repent and commit to a change of course where they atone and make amends for their sin. It says in Psalm 45, the king will desire your beauty. Submit to him, honor him, bow to him, in the different versions, right? He is your Lord. He is the king. I'm the top martial artist ever possible. Even if you don't believe in the Bible, you must believe in the logic. Is it right to cheat me out of my right to lead and my right to go on a date with a woman and for her to submit to me sexually? It's not right to cheat me out of that. There's a 50% divorce rate. Women sleep with all kinds of scum. Say you're an attractive female and you're a virgin. And you're like, we haven't slept with anybody. But you still know females are shunning me. So should you shun me too? And increase the hatred toward women at large, including you? Work the angles on that. Under no circumstances should any female that I desire shun me. Your marriages are invalid. And if you don't like the thought of me sleeping with a married woman, then tell these single women who are attractive to rally to me and submit, or else you're justifying it more. Because one who slackens his work is brother to one who destroys. So again, I don't condone rape. I don't approve of it. I don't like the thought of it. I like the thought of women finally correcting their mistake. I like the thought of them discussing this video and being like, damn it, he's right. Let's just do what he says. Oh my gosh, he's right. I never thought of it that way. Or whatever. I like the thought of a light bulb going off, of them seeing the light, of them seeing the glory of the top martial arts ever possible, of them seeing the irony of me saying it this way and still being right. Or whatever the hell the word is. In a sense, I suppose it's ironic. You go what the hell I'm saying. The strangeness will say. Can you imagine? Imagine Belle, the real life version of Belle from Beauty and the Beast, with Princess Jasmine, the grown up version. They seem like little kids or something, from Aladdin. Imagine the most virtuous women you can imagine listening to my video. Are they going to be mad because I raised my voice? I tell them, grow the hell up. Think about Jesus and the Moneylanders. Are they going to be mad because I called them names? Jesus and John the Baptist called them names. Stephen the Martyr called them names. If the shoe fits, wear it. Are they mad because I don't have respect for women when they're shunning me for being the most righteous person ever? What are they mad about? Do I have some dumb slut in my trunk right now? What the fuck are they mad about? They're mad because I disrespected the spirit of white supremacy? Are you fucking kidding me? Because I disrespected their kids' stuff fucking church? Think about it.